You know that feeling when you chase after something you're absolutely sure is going to make you happy, only to get it and feel, well, kind of empty? Today, we're going to dive into the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, who argues that the answer to that problem isn't out there in the world. Nope, it's within, through what he called the highest activity of all, meditation.
Yogananda kicks things off with a question that, honestly, hits home for so many of us. We spend our lives pursuing things that promise us joy, but so often they just end up leading to frustration or misery. It's this exhausting cycle. So what's going on? Well, according to his teachings, the whole search is pointed in completely the wrong direction.
So let's talk about this fruitless search. We're basically taught from day one that if we get enough money, enough comfort, this life of ease, then we'll finally be happy. But why doesn't it work? Why do these things so often fail to deliver that deep, lasting fulfillment that, let's be honest, we're all really looking for?
This classic Hindu saying, it pretty much maps out the typical life story, doesn't it? As kids, we're just lost in our games. As teenagers and young adults, we're consumed by passions. And then, as adults, we get buried under a mountain of worries. You see the pattern, right? Our focus is constantly being pulled outward, distracting us from any kind of deeper spiritual connection.
And here's the twist. The problem isn't the world itself. The world is just the world. The real enemies are inside of us. It's the sensory delusion that whispers in our ear, telling us that happiness is in the next purchase, the next relationship, the next thing. And it's the shackles of wrong habits that keep us trapped in that cycle of seeking and never really finding.
Okay, so if chasing stuff in the world is a dead end, what about the more traditional spiritual paths? Yogananda points out 3 common ways people try to find meaning. But he argues like each one, if you pursue it all by itself, is still, well, an incomplete journey.
Just think about these 3 paths for a second. The path of work, just doing your duties, it can turn you into a robot, just going through the motions with no real connection. The path of reason can get you stuck in your own head, endlessly debating things without ever experiencing them. And the path of pure devotion, that can become unbalanced, all emotion and no wisdom. Each one is missing a crucial piece of the puzzle.
So if work, reason, and devotion all have their own pitfalls when they're on their own, what's the answer? This brings us right to the heart of the teaching, a 4th way. And it's not really a separate path. It's more like a master key that unlocks and balances the other 3.
And here it is. This is the central, and for many people, a pretty radical idea. Meditation is not passive. It's not about doing nothing. In fact, Yogananda presents it as the most powerful, the most effective activity a human being can possibly perform.
Now, let's be super clear. We're not just talking about a simple relaxation technique here. What's being described is esoteric meditation. It's the focused, disciplined activity of pulling all of your awareness inward, away from all the distractions, and concentrating it solely on spirit.
So you see, meditation doesn't replace the other paths. It's what weaves them all together. It's the practice that injects your work, your thoughts, and your love with a real connection to that deeper spiritual center. It brings harmony and purpose to literally everything else that you do.
I absolutely love this analogy for the mind's potential. A scattered, distracted mind is like a piece of charcoal. Light can shine on it all day, but it just absorbs it and stays dark. But a clear, meditative mind, that's like a perfectly cut diamond. It doesn't just receive divine light, it reflects it brilliantly in every direction.
Okay, that sounds amazing, right? But how do you actually do that? How do you turn your mind from charcoal into a diamond? Well, the whole process starts with getting a handle on the very things that keep us so distracted in the first place, our 5 senses.
Here's a really cool way to picture it. Think of your body as a kind of telephone switchboard. Your 5 senses, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, are the telephones, and they are constantly ringing with calls from the outside world. Meditation is the art of becoming the operator of that switchboard. You learn to consciously unplug those phone lines whenever you want, so you can finally get some peace from the constant chatter and connect with what's inside.
And this is so important. This is not about escaping the world. The teaching argues for the exact opposite. By connecting with this inner source of peace and wisdom, you don't become less active in life. You become more active, more successful, and way more effective in everything you set out to do.
And all of this leads to what is maybe the most empowering conclusion of the entire teaching: the power to save yourself, the power to find that ultimate happiness. It isn't out there somewhere waiting for you. It's already inside you.
Just think about how radical that statement is. I mean, let that sink in. It completely flips the script.
It moves us away from waiting for some external force to come and save us, to realizing that the divine power we've been looking for is already a part of our own being. It's a profound call to take total responsibility for our own spiritual journey.
So the choice then is actually pretty simple, but incredibly profound. You can befriend your higher self. You can align your actions with that inner wisdom, and you'll find salvation from suffering. Or you can act against it through your habits and choices, and in doing that, you literally become your own worst enemy.
And this next point, wow, it really highlights the urgency of all this inner work. From this perspective, the greatest tragedy isn't dying. The greatest tragedy is to go through your entire life and to eventually die, believing that you are just this mortal body. It's to completely misunderstand who you truly are. It's an insult to the divine self that's right there within you.
And that's what this all leads back to, isn't it? The entire practice of meditation is designed to help you answer the biggest question your intelligence can possibly ask. Not with a theory, not with a belief somebody gave you, but with your own direct, personal experience of your true divine origin. The journey inward is really the journey home.